It's a terrible football show. What do you expect?
I want whatever you guys are smoking right now.
OH!
Oh, baby, yeah!
Just in my brain, it just makes so much sense.
You have no quarterback. You're going to need some punters.
Welcome to a terrible football show!
That's my quarterback and my teammate, man.
Ruins my holiday every damn year.
They draft Xavier Worthy. What the? Wide receiver from Texas.
Hamster.
Bears pick is in.
What?
Bears pick is in.
No! Jerry Jones, what are you doing? Oh, man.
If it's Toledo, I'm drawing the best damn rocket there is out there. Excuse me. I don't even think that's PG.
I told my HR director about this show. He's going to listen to it.
We're getting sued again, boys. This show's so bad, we almost got sued once, we might get almost sued again.
Listen, guys, this is a terrible football show where everybody may be good at nothing, but we are terrible at everything.
Yeah, he's successful at just giving his terrible opinions, so why can't I? Terrible football show, after all.
Welcome to a terrible football show.
Jacob.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Welcome to Terrible Football Show. I think it's 136. It is October 28th, and we are back with a live show this week after getting really weird last week. But I will go ahead and say it. The weird shows are not going anywhere. I'm just really busy this week. I got to go out of town for work, so no weird show this week. We're doing live. We're sticking to it. We're going to have a great time. Shout out to Chad and Chat. We got a few of the guys here with us. No Tyler this week. Ricky in studio. How you doing, buddy?
Yes, sir. Doing well. Glad to be back after being absent last week. Parent-teacher conference last week, so got to, talk to parents about their kids and
Great time.
great time.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's the kids who do well.
Right.
I had very, very few parents who show up with kids who are doing terrible. So
Right. We have Jacob over in the land of Ohio. Jacob, buddy, how you doing? Terrible football show.
It's starting to get real cold.
I would imagine.
What's the temperature up there right now?
Temp right now is 41 degrees.
So we're in the 50s up here. So yeah, it's
down here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're in the
down
50s
here.
down here. And so I think down there. And I think Friday night will be the first time I pull out the long sleeves for a Friday night game. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, I'm ready for that.
Shane, what about you, buddy? How you doing today?
I am not ready for this cold, but I am doing great. Every day when I go to work, I turn off my AC, and I got home today, and it was 62 degrees in my house.
Oh,
jeez.
So I hate this cold weather. I hate it so much.
See, man, I like the cold. I'm a big fan. I'm naturally hot-blooded as it is, so it just works out for me. But I don't know if I don't like the bone brittling cold, where it's just a still cold where it just goes through your whole body. That's when it sucks. That's when it's not a good time. But you know what will be a good time? That's going to be today's episode, I hope. I don't know. It's a terrible football show. We're here on this show, some people on the show, we have a higher BMI than IQ, as I've come to find out this past week. So, we don't know what this show's going to entail, brother. We're going to find out here today. It might be a shorter show because, it might be like a harsh curtain drop today because I do have stuff to do as soon as we're done with the show. So may even skip the picks out today. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can get there. At least shout maybe a couple of the picks. But we do have three things here on the docket today that we are going to go through. The first one, obviously, in the world of the NFL, we had a very tragic passing this week. Absolute legend, absolute dog from Ohio, Jacob's country. Nick Mangold has unfortunately passed away due to some complications with a genetic disorder that he has with his liver that he's had since I think it was 2006 is when they got diagnosed. And man, it sucks because I just saw the post like a week or two ago where he called out for Jets and Buckeye Nation trying to find a liver transplant. Yeah, I mean that's some scary stuff. I mean that's some scary stuff, man. Believe it or not, boys, we actually got a team member here at Sparky 3 that almost lost his life in the same way, where he had to have a liver transplant once upon a time. So yeah, that's some scary stuff, man. So we're gonna do the same thing we did last week for Doug Martin. We're gonna each shout out some of our favorite offensive linemen from the past and kind of give acknowledgement and kudos to them because obviously when it comes to the game of football, the most beautiful place is the trenches, baby. That is where games are won and lost. So let's make sure to give kudos to those guys that win and lose those games for us. We'll go through. We'll just give shout outs to each of some of our favorite guys from the past. From there, as you can see from the title of today's episode, college football head coaching openings. We're going to go through all the openings, especially the most recent one with Brian Kelly with LSU, and what is the best job available. How would you rank them? We'll talk about that, as well as a topic that Jacob threw in a couple weeks back about a college football power conference question here. Each of the 4 conferences, right? If you were to try to improve the quality of the conference and remove a team to improve the quality of the conference in football, who would you remove? What 4 teams would you consider, and who would be the one you remove? We're going to go through all of it as well. Shout out some sponsors. Join the Discord. Be a friend, tell a friend. Let's jump into it. The Nick Mangold topic, man. Again, massive rest in peace to Nick Mangold. This is gut wrenching. Seeing the video of Rex Ryan talk about him was gut wrenching. That time with the Rex Ryan led Jets, right? It didn't matter if you hated the Jets or not. You couldn't deny that the Jets, in some capacity, good or bad, was much watched television. And when you got a guy like Nick Mangold holding down the line along with Big Ferg, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, absolute dog, man, you got some good ball happening, especially when you got a guy like Thomas Jones in the backfield. Now, I think that was also the era of Leon Washington, which I'm mad as hell I didn't shout him out last week. Mad as hell about that because I loved Leon Washington. But for me, a few guys that I want to shout out for the conversation. Number one, a guy that I loved coming out of college from California, an absolute dog, future Hall of Famer, because I don't think he's in the Hall yet, but he was on the All 2010 team. That's Alex Mack, center of the Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons in like 1 year, San Francisco. I mean, this is a 7-time Pro Bowler, 13 years in the league, an absolute dog, man. The way Alex Mack played the game was the way you want a center to play the game, right? And another guy that I feel that way for on the guard position, and kind of roping back to last week's conversation where I talked about, this is a Chicago Bear I'm going to talk about, where I talked about Matt Forte and how he was like the identity of the Chicago Bears. That's how I kind of felt about Kyle Long there for a little bit too with the Bears. He was almost like that identity of just toughness, of what it meant to be a Chicago Bear. All 7 years officially with Chicago. I know he briefly tried to come back to Kansas City. 3-time Pro Bowler, obviously the Long family, legendary family there. But Kyle Long was an absolute monster and a dog. And then another guy, actually from our backyard here, and also went in the same draft with Kyle Long, an absolute legend, Terran Armstead. 2013 draft, 3rd-round pick for the Saints. 12 years in the league, 9 with the Saints, 3 with Miami, 5-time Pro Bowler. Terran Armstead, dude, he was a dog for the Saints. He was absolutely incredible. And this is a pretty basic cop-out answer, but you can't. It's one of those things where it's kind of like the Mike Evans thing. You got to acknowledge greatness when it's happening. I mean, Mike Evans, the amount of years that he's had 1,000 yards, which unfortunately is now coming to a close with the injury that he had. But Joe Thomas, I mean, you go 10 straight years and not missing a single game. Then you play another 7 and unfortunately get injured. It's basically career-ending tricep injury. But how can you not at least pay respects to Joe Thomas and just the toughness that he did, all with Cleveland? I mean, look at the kind of teams that he had up there, man, and stuck with it. Joe Thomas is another one of those guys that is the definition of just toughness. Just some other guys, real quick, a shout that I loved. Obviously, Taylor Lewan, loved him, at Tennessee. Cody Whitehair, another Bear. Kurtz, another Bear. Hopefully, he'll get in the Hall of Fame. Roberto Garza. And then the Sheriff for Washington. Brandon Sheriff was an absolute dog. I was super pumped when he went to Jacksonville. Just never could get anything together. But, yeah, Ricky, what about you? Who's some guys you want to shout out?
So, this is a challenge for me because a lot of the times whenever I'm very guilty of not being able to keep up with a lot of offensive linemen. I remember some of the names from back then, and one of the ones that really popped out to me is when I first started watching football for the Cowboys. Larry Allen was one of the first ones that popped in my head. Just an absolute dog of a beast, man. And he was a very, very terrific. I believe he was an 11-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro, which is a different subject that was voted in and everything like that. But you could just tell that he set the heart, and he was the heart and soul of that offensive line. And so I also put Trent Williams on there. Trent Williams I thought was he was also terrific. You could probably put these two guys next to each other and probably make an argument of who's the greatest of all time. You really could. Obviously, I would tip the hat to Larry just a little bit, but just for the base on their situations that they were in and everything like that. And then, of course, some of the ones I got to mention, from way back when, Jason Peters, who was a Philadelphia
Oh
Eagle.
my gosh, true.
Played for Arkansas. He was a terrific offensive lineman. And then, of course, you got to shout out some of the ones that have been recent, like Jason Kelsey. You've got to shout out a guy like Jason Kelsey. Just an absolute stud. He sets the tone. He's such a nice guy. He's a family dude. Someone that you want to lead your football program. Someone who had so much passion for it. And it's just too bad that the Philly won another Super Bowl the year after he retired. But
Yeah.
and of course, there's a ton more that we can go into, but
it's all day thing.
But yeah, like I said, and there's different arguments for different days when it comes to greatest of all time with these linemen. But I'm just mentioning some of the ones that I'm like, these were the guys I grew up to watch. Like when I was growing up as a kid, these were the guys that I'm like,
yeah,
these are studs.
Yeah. I absolutely understand that completely. Another one that was also a stud kind of growing up as well. Unfortunately, a team we all, I think, collectively hated, but Matt Light with the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. Matt Light was a beast.
Yeah, absolute dog. Jacob, what about you? Who's some guys you want to highlight?
I got a guy that played 13 years with the Baltimore Ravens out of Iowa. I have Marshall Yonda.
Hopefully a Hall of Famer soon, baby.
Hopefully a Hall of Famer,
yeah.
but the interior linemen get zero respect when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I will say that outside of centers. The dude switched positions so he could even keep playing.
Right.
And was still an all-pro at that. Second guy, got to shout out a fellow Cowboy, have to. Travis Frederick, career cut way too soon.
Travis.
Career cut way too soon. Former first round pick. Should have been a Super Bowl champ, but that is neither here nor there.
Tragic.
He was the heart and soul of that gorgeous offensive line that
True.
we had at one point in time.
Best line in the league for years, brother.
Yep.
God, I missed that.
Shane, what about you? Who's some guys you want to highlight here?
Well, he actually took one of mine because I remember watching back in the day Marshall Yonda. So that was definitely one of mine. For me, just like you said, Joe Thomas, a guy that I only knew because he was just so good, so consistently over so long with such bad teams. Like, it's very rare that you get a team like the Cleveland Browns that are so bad that their star players and offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you knew anybody on their team, but you knew who the frick Joe Thomas was.
Yeah, everyone knows who Joe Thomas was.
Also, might be a little cliche, but hey, they made a movie after this guy, Michael Orr, from the Baltimore Ravens again as well. And then, like Ricky said, growing up a Razorback fan and probably the guy that's probably done the most with his Arkansas career, coming from a tight end in college, going to the pros, playing offensive lineman, Jason Peters, of course. And then most recently, Jason Kelsey. He just kind of showed how to play a position properly and how to be a great teammate. And yeah, those 3 or 4 guys were probably the tip top for me.
Yeah. Another guy to shout out real quick before you move on, and it's an up and coming guy of just like immediately already love this guy's game, love his attitude where he is willing to fight and die in the trenches, and that's Will Campbell. Man, I'm excited to see what this guy's career is going to look like for the Patriots. I really am. Because, man, he's one of those type of linemen that he plays the position the right way. You know what I mean? And in the game of football, because the trenches, that's the beauty, baby. Trenches, that's football right there. The trenches is football. So, man, I love me some Will Campbell. I hope he has a beautiful career. And obviously, again, rest in peace, Nick Mangold. He was definitely one of those guys for me that, I loved on that Jets team, him and DeBrickashaw Ferguson. I had my fair share of Madden franchise with the Jets. I wouldn't say I've never been a Jets fan, but, man, it's just, you like to mix it up, play some different teams at different points, you know what I mean? And when you got guys like Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, you do some fantasy drafts on Madden, brother, they always in that consideration. Let's get them on the team. Hold down the line for me. So, man, absolutely gutted when I saw the news of Nick Mangold, especially when seeing the news just like 2 weeks prior, asking for the liver transplant. So, obviously, just T's and P's to everyone involved. Yeah, just a really tragic situation, man. Hate to see it, and I am glad that the Jets were able to pull out a dub this weekend. That's the big thing too. Get a dub this weekend. It was the perfect timing.
I think I picked that game too.
Yeah, perfect timing. Get that first dub of the year. Perfect timing. We love to see it. All right, boys. Let's head over to the next talking point here. We'll go ahead and hit the title topic for the day, and that is college football head coaching job openings. All right, what's the most enticing job? How would you rank some of these jobs? I went ahead and included all of them. So if you want to go ahead, if you want to go ahead and meme that Kent State's on here, then go ahead and meme it. I wanted to be technical here, and I got everybody on here that's open. All right, leave me alone. But obviously, Brian Kelly canned, which good. I mean, he kind of stinks.
He didn't fit. It was just a bad fit.
Yeah, bad fit. So, I mean, you got some pretty noticeable jobs open. You got LSU, Florida, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, Arkansas. Stanford is technically open. That was an interim job with Frank Wright. UCLA, Oregon State, Colorado State, and then a couple that who cares, the UAB and Kent State. But I'm being technical. I'm throwing them in there. But, Ricky, let's start off with you.
Yes.
How would you kind of rank some of these? What is the number one job in your opinion? Let's see how the boys are.
Let's start with the bottom two. It's UAB and Kent State. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. It's UAB and Kent State.
Kent State's the number one job. Isn't that right, Shane? Former offensive coordinator over here.
There we go. Let's get that out of the way. Y'all may disagree with me. I don't know if you will. I don't know if you'll agree with me, disagree with me. I don't care. I still think Penn State's the best job that's open right now. And I'm going to tell you why. You don't necessarily have to share a ton of sources at Penn State. And that's kind of where the SEC kind of like fits in. The SEC basically shares their sources. It's almost like who's going to be able to pay the most money for the most players, things of that nature. You don't necessarily deal with that with Penn State. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Any head coach in the entire world of college football, the two jobs they want the most, believe it or not, is Penn State, Notre Dame. And that is the truth. They have the history behind those two universities. I still think Penn State is the best job open that's out there. And you also wouldn't, the gauntlet of the Big Ten right now per se is different than what the SEC is going through as far as the gauntlet of what they're going through right now. I put LSU in Florida. You could rank them however you wanted to because both of them are interchangeable. The reason I think LSU would be second right now is just because they're winning. We're not seeing Florida win very many games right now. We've seen Florida on this downward spiral basically since Urban Meyer left. I know Dan Mullen had a couple of good years with them. What's his name? Will Muschamp, I think, had one good season with them. But for the most part, you're not seeing them on that national contender level. LSU is a piece or two away from being a national championship level. And I don't remember if it was this show or who it was, but someone said LSU could possibly be that team that's coming out this year. That could be that team from the SEC that says, you know what? They could be the one. I put Virginia Tech next because the history behind Virginia Tech and because like I said, let's if we look at the ACC in general, Virginia Tech is one of those historically in the ACC who has usually been pretty good. We've seen them in this slump for years now, but I still think they're a more valuable job opening than the rest of these that I'm about to mention. I put Arkansas and Oklahoma State at 5 and 6. Those are also interchangeable. It doesn't matter which one of those programs you go to. I would probably rank Oklahoma State a little bit of ahead just because we've seen recent success from Oklahoma. We haven't seen recent success from Arkansas in quite some time. Stanford, UCLA, you could probably interchange those. The only reason I put them down as far as they are is because they're in the Big Ten Conference. They need to be out of the Big Ten Conference. It's going to be almost impossible to have successful programs at these two schools. And then you have Colorado State, Oregon State, once more, almost interchangeable. And the only reason I put the Beavs down so far low is because even though I know the Pac-12 is being rebuilt, they're still not going to be that Oregon State head of the heart program in a major conference. It's just not going to happen right now.
Pac is going to be a group conference.
Yeah, it's a group conference. And I hate to say that because I love Oregon State. Yeah. I love the history they've had of beating USC, of being up so much, and USC is the number one team in the country, which I hate USC, by the way. But, just in general, but that's my ranking.
Okay. All right. Who wants to hop up next? Jacob, do you want to kind of throw your hat in the ring here?
I'll do it next. I'm not going to go completely in depth and rank all teams. I'm just going to give my top 3. Number 1 is going to be Florida. Heart of SEC Nation. They haven't had a championship since 2008. They haven't even sniffed a championship since 2008. But the fact that they're in the heart of Florida and a lot of the other Florida teams currently are not doing well right now, it'll be so easy to recruit there. Super easy to recruit, or at least it should be easy to recruit in as big of a state as Florida is. Similarly, I have UCLA at my second spot, mainly because it is the only team currently open right now in the heart, in the middle of a recruiting hub that is as big as South California. you get the right guy in there, he's going to start plucking people left and right. Should be, at least. If you get a nice recruiting general in that head coaching spot, they should have plenty of recruits to pick and choose from. The only downside to UCLA is their stadium.
I was about to say
Yeah.
the stadium
Really
is kind of a big drawback there.
That's the only downside, but also you can spin it into a positive and say, who doesn't want to play in the historic Rose Bowl?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your three?
Third, Virginia Tech, because of the history.
hi-
I also think that
respect.
Virginia Tech is on that precipice. It's on that cusp of being one hell of a team, but they just have had a lack of leadership. And that's why we've seen the decline of Virginia Tech and the decline of the recruits that they have gotten over the years. But I think it can be done given the right person. John Gruden.
Oh dear God.
Not the beam. Don't go get the beam, huh?
Here's where I want to challenge you
No.
though, Jacob. And this is kind of where it kind of goes back to, like you said, the aura, if you will, of a university. UCLA is a great university. It really is. Here's the problem, Jacob. UCLA is a basketball school, and they will always be a basketball. They have been for years. But I also want to challenge you on this much. When's the last time a California school even sniffed a national playoff? When's the last time they sniffed a national championship? Was it the USC days?
Correct. But that is mainly because you have these stronger states, these stronger schools pulling the recruits from their state. They just need a guy in there that can keep all the people together in the state.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. All right, Shane. What about you? Do you have any rebuttals to these two? And then I'll give mine after you.
I don't, but I mean, everybody has their own kind of criteria on where they're ranking them, right?
Mhm.
I kind of went based on pretty much three things. One, how hard is it going to be to recruit in that state or in that conference? Two, what's your road to the playoff looking like? And then three, how much money, not necessarily you have, but can you get if you have the right guy in there, right? So for me, I have LSU number one, and the only reason why I put LSU one is because they're in Louisiana. They don't have any other Power 4 school to recruit the state of Louisiana. I mean, of course, other teams from out of state come in there, but Louisiana has put more players into the NFL in the last 20 years than any other state.
That's very true.
Including California. So if you get a right guy in there that can recruit the state of Louisiana and keep those guys, you're automatically going to have a really good team because those players they can play pretty much. The only reason why I put Florida number two is for my reasoning of how hard it's going to be to recruit in that state. Yes, Florida is supposed to be the school in Florida, but as we've seen recently, Miami's gotten a lot better over the last 5 years. You have UCF and USF playing pretty well these days. You have Florida State, they're having a down year, but they're always typically up there. And then, I mean, you have a lot of mid-major Florida teams that are right there as well. It's very difficult to recruit and retain those main players in Florida. That's why I have the number two. But on the flip side of that, if you get the right guy in there, kind of like what Jacob said for UCLA, you can retain those guys, and if you retain those guys, the Florida job will be better than LSU, but unfortunately recruiting is difficult. Number three for me is Penn State. Pretty much for the same reason why I have LSU there number one. The only difference is Penn State will have a lot easier road to the playoff than LSU or Florida, or frankly any other of the teams that are open right now. Frankly, because other than 3, 4, maybe 5 teams in the Big Ten, including Penn State, that conference is pretty weak. You can argue with me which what you want, but I mean, it's just reality. We thought Illinois was going to be top notch this year. They're proving that they're not. And I pretty much is my top three.
So I'm kind of glad you brought the Louisiana thing, Shane, because that reminds me of a conversation I had with somebody the other day that was talking about high school football. So down in the southern Arkansas border, there's a school called Junction City, and
I know.
They're of course they're on the up and coming now, but like Junction City was like the small school that you would go to down the south. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Junction City, but there's nothing there. Literally nothing there. There's a Dollar General, there's a little store across the street, and then there's a school. That's it. There's hardly anything. Most of Junction City is Louisiana. But the reason I bring the Louisiana part into it is because they are able to get some Louisiana players to come up from northern Louisiana. For the simple fact is their school is much closer than what the next school district. I think they said the next school district for most of their school districts are 45 minutes to an hour away. So they're able to go to Junction City just based off of that. So I'm glad you brought that up because, yes, Louisiana is very underrated when it comes to recruiting for football.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I don't know, when I was in high school between 2010 and 2014, Junction City was the school in that 2-3A class.
Yep. Yeah,
them and
Junction
Star
City,
City were always winning in those conferences.
Junction City and Bearden used to always vie for that conference. And, of course, Star City, they're a little bit down right now. They just graduated a great class last year, and they're going to be down for the next 2 or 3 years. But, yes, down in the South, there's some schools in the South of Arkansas that are really producing right now too.
And for me, I do have Virginia Tech 4 and Arkansas 5, just based on road to the playoff and how much money it potentially can be there. And again, yes, Arkansas has Arkansas State, but if we have the right person that can have the right boosters, people say, "Oh, we only have a couple of billionaires that could donate." But yes, our billionaires are top of the line billionaires, right? Our billionaires can give $1 billion, and it's like, "Oh no, I dropped $1 billion on the floor. Oh no, oh well."
Tragic.
You know,
Walmart.
We have Tyson, we have Walmart, we have the Waltons, we have JB Hunt. We have massive companies that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Yes, there may be other smaller states around us that may have multiple, millionaires or maybe just billionaires, but we have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in the state of Arkansas. If we get the right person in Arkansas that can pull that money, like what Calipari did with Tyson and things like that, we can have the money. It's just a matter of getting these billionaires to donate.
We just have a bunch of cheapskates.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of cheapskate billionaires.
Right. So a couple things. One, Jacob's gone for the moment. He apparently his power's out. He said that he heard there was a loud crash outside. So I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him back in.
Miss you, Jacob.
I had to do a quick pivot. But the other thing, I think it's really interesting with this topic that so far all three of you had a different answer for number one. And I got to be honest, I thought I was going to be the only one with my answer. Shout out to you, Ricky. I've got Penn State as the number one.
I thought that was a no-brainer, but I respect.
That was my number one.
I respect the Florida being number one. I respect that. The problem is that Florida is not what Florida used to be.
Exactly.
Even like Miami, this is the first time they've had a legitimate, really good football team that has playoff potential in years.
Right.
Florida State going down here. The state of Florida has not really the pull for football right now. It's just not.
Yeah. No, I think
that's why I had Florida number 2, because it's going to be so hard to recruit in that state and so hard to split up those boosters in that state, because why are you going to give money or recruits to a team that's not shown anything in 20 years when you have Miami, you have USF, you have Florida State, you have all these other Florida teams that are doing more with less right now.
Right.
So y'all know who they want to be the next head coach at Florida, right? Tim Tebow.
Lane Kiffin. No, they want Lane Kiffin.
They do want Lane Kiffin. Everybody wants Lane Kiffin, man.
Good luck.
Nobody wants to be in Mississippi.
No, honestly, here's my stance on the top job thing. I think if anyone would present the argument for Penn State, LSU, and Florida, I think they're all fair for different reasons, right? I genuinely do. I'm in the mindset of Penn State, and it's pretty much bar for bar everything that you said, Ricky. Like bar for bar, I don't need to repeat myself. Just turn back the clock a couple minutes and listen to him. Like that was why I thought Penn State was one. Shout out to Chad in chat. He said Florida's and scrambles. No way they're the best or second best. That's why I actually don't have Florida at 2 or 3. For my second best,
Really?
I think it's LSU. And my third is actually a tie between two schools, and it's shout out to Shane for one thing that he said. and of how he kind of judged it based on like, you know, the recruiting, path to the playoffs, whatever. In this case, it's path to the playoffs. I personally think, especially with recent success and kind of where Florida is in scrambles right now and all the recruiting stuff that you're talking about, I think tied for third honestly could be argue Virginia Tech and Oklahoma State, and it's because the path to the playoffs.
Yep.
Because you look at where the ACC is, you look where the Big 12 is, you have a better chance of making the playoffs in one of those two conferences than you do at Florida in the SEC. But now, granted, you can go to Florida and the SEC and potentially get all the great recruits that Florida has and turn Florida around in 1 year and immediately be a college football playoff contender. Let's not discredit that possibility. That's very real. But I feel like from a natural, like, we're going, you got a great shot in the Big 12 and the ACC. I mean, look at Oklahoma for so long running the Big 12 before they came over to the SEC. Like, I feel like with how both conferences are right now, let's look at the ACC. My team's in the ACC. Miami's Miami up front. We just saw them have their first loss. I can see them have another one before the year's over. Clemson's on the current decline. Could rise back up. Florida State's been in on a climb. Could rise back up. It's wide open, though.
Yep.
You can't tell me that the Big 12 ain't wide open.
Nope.
Like, it's just you have those opportunities. And, you know, Mike Gundy has obviously dropped, you know, it's kind of fallen apart these last couple of years. But literally just 2 or 3 years ago, Oklahoma State was in the Big 12 championship, you know, maybe 4, I don't remember. And then, you know, Virginia Tech, while they've been kind of dog water for a little while, you get the right guy in there. Virginia Tech has that historical greatness, right, of where they're just always in the picture, maybe not winning natty after natty, but they're always in the picture, similar to Penn State. So it's like if you can get one of those kind of jobs and get yourself in the picture consistently, like for those type of conferences, like I feel like as a coach, that's pretty enticing, at least in my opinion. But, you know, I understand there's a lot of other money factors that kind of go into play and stuff. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Like I said, I think it's really fascinating that we all had a different answer for the most part. So that's me and Rick. You know, the one way that I'm different is I put Virginia Tech and Oklahoma State a little bit higher than the others. But I thought it was really interesting that all three of you had a different number one. Like I think they're all correct. That's the thing. I don't think any of you guys have a wrong
Tyler,
answer.
Really?
I don't think any of you guys have a wrong answer.
Tyler, you're not allowed to post crap. You're not here today. If the SEC is so good, why do they lead the country in fired coaches? You're right. Because it's the SEC. They're trying to compete. I swear, Tyler, never mind. I'm not even going to say. You know what, Tyler? I got a bone to pick with you later.
I've got a bone to pick with Tyler later, too. Don't worry. Me and you both have got a bone to pick.
Sir.
I've got a bone to pick with that guy, man. I swear to God, I'm going to dunk on him here in a little bit about something. So, but no, I mean, I think the answer, like I said, I think all three of you are right. I genuinely do, because I think those three are all very fair answers for number one. Tyler says LSU, Florida, Penn State, UCLA, and Arkansas is the top 5 in his opinion.
Okay.
I think that's a valid.
That's valid.
I think for the most part, almost any top 5 of the power schools open is valid.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, I think they're valid across the board. So it's an interesting conversation. We'll see how, you know, all the job fillings are going to go. Hey, good luck to Arkansas. Brian Kelly is current number 1 betting odds for Arkansas. Good luck, boys.
So I'll be honest with you. We'll be happy with 8-9 wins a year. I don't know.
I know you guys will.
We'll be happy with 8 wins.
We're
not even getting. We may not even get 4 this year. I mean, it's not going to happen. Daggum, we lost to Auburn. We're terrible, man. Oh gosh, do better, Arkansas.
Do better. Pick up a shirt right now. All right. Speaking of picking up a shirt, let's go shout out some merch real quick.
Let's do it.
We have a merch store. It's not that great, but we have one. Sparky3shop.com. You can go pick up some really poorly designed merch, like the B shirt, which I think is actually really awesome. We have this thing called the Lonely Boy. It's just a cool little design. You know, I'll put more terrible merch in there, especially if you recommend stuff, then I will probably put stuff in there. We have some really poorly designed hats, you know, so that's cool. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's it. Spark3shop.com. It's in the description below somewhere. Spark3shop.com. It's a place you can visit and buy some merch, I guess, if you're feeling spicy. See ya. All right, we're back after an ad break. Shane had to go take a potty break, so that's okay. You know, we're here. We'll make it. You know, I I low key want to go ahead and pick my bone with Tyler right now while I'm waiting on
Pick the
Shane.
bone with Tyler.
Yeah, no. So Tyler is obviously a very disgruntled Penn State fan, which is fair. So it's made him kind of question his fanhood, which is also fair because I was doing that with Chicago, with the Matt Eberflus era. So I understand. I understand that it gets a little tough sometimes. So it's the question of where is Tyler going to fill his allegiance? If he leaves Penn State and Penn State gets dropped down a few notches. I was saying, dude, just, hey, join me, brother. Join me in the Mountain West. It's fun over here. We just have a good time.
Yeah.
We don't worry about natties. We just worry about making a bowl game. We have fun. Let's go Wyoming, and Hawaii, the rivalry. Let's go, brother. And, it's a possibility, strong possibility. He likes his guy, Sam Scott, over there in Wyoming, who balled out the other day. Shout out to that. But, it's also a very strong possibility that he goes to a certain city that I've got a very strong hatred for. And that is the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And I am so upset. I am all for memes, and I ride with Tyler on memes all the time. I'll ride with Jacob on the memes. I'm all for riding with you boys and riding on the memes, all right? But this is one thing I can't ride with him on because, I first off, I just don't like the SEC. I like other conferences. This is how I am. But, Mississippi State especially, I can't stand. And it's nothing that the school did to me personally. It's Starkville. I cannot stand that damn city. I went there for work. First time ever in that shithole town. I had an ear infection. I had a severe cold. I get fucking pink eye at the damn hotel. I had a terrible time. And the campus sucks. We drove through the campus. The campus sucks. There's nothing to do in that damn town. Starkville sucks. And he's over here being like, I think I'm going to be a Bulldog fan. And I blame Chad for it, who's possibly still in the chat. Chad, this is your fault that this is happening. Because Chad's just like, you can't be a fan of a team unless you've gone to their game. No, fuck you, Chad. I like the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. All right, buddy? I like the Bows. I don't give a damn.
Okay. Oh, Lord.
So now Tyler's over here just like, I'm going to be a Bulldog fan because of Chad. No, Chad, you're the problem here.
Oh, my gosh.
You've done this. You've unleashed this. Because now Tyler's already got a hoodie. Tyler's going to the game this weekend. He's going to Arkansas State, Mississippi State with his uncle or something who's a diehard Razorback fan. And Tyler's got him a brand new Mississippi State hoodie. And he's ready to go stir the pot. Tyler, buddy, I'm not going to be able to ride with you on this one, brother.
Here's something else. The title of the rivalry between Mississippi State and Ole Miss is the Egg Bowl. That's stupid. That's dumb.
And
dumb.
One of these days, I've had this in my back pocket. One of these days, we got some free time or whatever, which honestly might be like a summer thing. Because honestly, I'm thinking we just go away from summer breaks and just have bullshit little fun stuff during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do college football rivalries and talk about the best names. And I'm gonna tell you up front, Egg Bowl's gonna be at the bottom.
It's the bottom. It's got to be at the bottom.
It's terrible.
Got to be.
It's
and I've heard
terrible.
some stupid names, but we'll have to definitely.
There's a lot of good ones out there.
There is. I mean, you look at like Division II, Battle of the Ravine. Of course, that's a good rivalry name, but there's a history behind it. I don't know the full history. There's history behind it. What the hell's the history of Mississippi and eggs?
Right? We got to do our homework on that.
Exactly.
There might be a story.
There might be.
Kind of like the story I told a few weeks back about the Battle of the Golden Screwdriver with Fresno State and Hawaii. Where Fresno State fan, threw a screwdriver at June Jones when they were leaving a game, and that started the rivalry.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious.
God bless. Tyler said, there it is. There's that terrible hoodie with that terrible city, that terrible team. Eggs are good, though. I will agree.
Eggs are good. Yep. Eggs are good
on that one.
Eggs are good. Yep.
I think I heard Shane laugh. Are you back?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I thought I heard you laugh when I went on my rampage. All right. Let's keep moving.
Oh gosh, the first rampage he went on about Starkville, I about died laughing out of my seat.
I hate that city so much. I hate the state.
Like Tyler picked the shit-built Starkville.
I also just hate the state. The state just makes me mad. I hate that state so much.
Yeah, I was here for that whole conversation pretty much. I think I missed the first 3 seconds of it. Perfect. But yeah, death, taxes, and Alex bringing up how crappy Starkville is bound to happen at least once a season.
You know what's wild? That's not even the worst. That's not even the worst town I've been to in Mississippi that I hate the most. The one that I hate the most actually is Corinth, Mississippi, because that town legitimately, unless it's changed in the last when was I last there? 8 years. It legit looks like a town from a Fallout video game. Like it had a nuke dropped on it, but it has a fully functional Kroger. So not a fan of that one either. I've been through all of Mississippi. I hate the state with a passion. Hate it with a passion. Anyway, let's keep moving. This is something that Jacob put in a couple weeks back. Unfortunately, power's out for him, so he can't be here to dive into it with us. But college football power conference question. So the question was, when you look at the 4 power conferences, and if you had to take out one team from each conference to improve the quality of the conference in football, who would be that team? But also, who would be the 4 teams that you would consider? So let me go over to my notes because I made notes.
I was about to say I did not hear the 4 teams one, but I got something pulled up for that too. So it's good.
Yeah. No, the original post that he put in there said 4 teams is what it said.
Okay.
So let's start off with ACC. So I'll go ahead and say this: a couple of these conferences for me were kind of hard, kind of not hard to figure out the one. Because I'm trying to be nice about situations of they haven't been here long enough. Because ACC, you could immediately point to Stanford and Cal because they have not been great recently and they don't belong there anyway, as we can all agree. But I will say this: when Stanford's good at football, football is better for it.
It is, I agree.
So that is where I'm going to all right, let's see if Andrew Luck can turn this around, get a coach in there, do his thing. I think the answer for ACC is clear if you take those 2 out of the conversation. It's Wake Forest. You've been there for 73 years. In 73 years in the conference, you have a .320 conference win percentage and a .395 overall percentage since you've been in the conference. You've only finished ranked with the AP 3 times, and you've only got 2 conference championships in 73 years. There are other arguments you can make in the short 13 years that Syracuse has been there. They haven't been great. And it's the same thing with Virginia being there for 72 years. They have not been great. You could also argue Duke, who's been there for 73 years and has not been great.
Yeah, but they've also won championships.
They have. They've won 7 conference championships, which is the most of the ones that I named.
But as of late, you have an argument there because you're looking at you're not just looking at historically, you're looking at what are you doing now?
Exactly. That's the thing now is like what you're doing now. And, they're on the up and coming with Duke, right?
Yes.
Like Manny Diaz is doing great things over there. And, I want to throw this out there because I just thought it was super interesting, especially as a fan. Obviously don't agree, but if some random hater came up to me and said Miami needs to be one, I understand where they're coming from. Violently disagree because Miami is always in the conversation. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
The way Miami is, and I think you guys, this is a great comparison in my opinion. Miami is the Penn State of the ACC.
I could agree with that.
They're always in the conversation, but they never can finish. But it's one of those, again, if a hater comes up to me and says it's Miami, hey, well, you know what? We are 3-13 in bowl games since joining the ACC. Since joining the ACC, we have not won a single conference championship. Since joining the ACC, we have not been like to the game. I get it, but violently disagree because they are the Penn State of the ACC, and that's where they fit in the mold. I think the answer is Wake Forest. I think you take them out, you're improving the quality because they're just never in the conversation. Ricky, what about you? Who would be your one?
Yeah, Wake Forest was definitely my one. It definitely was my one. But I think something else that you pointed out to is like, what have you done for me here lately?
Yep.
Boston College could have an argument.
Yeah,
I'm just going to be honest with you. Boston College could have an argument. They're like Arkansas. They're super, super mediocre. You may get a 6 or 7 win season. And yeah, they probably had more 6, 7 win seasons than what Arkansas had as of late. But if you want to go even, let's see, so in 2008, they had a 9-5 record. 2006, 2007, they were really, really good. But if you just look between basically 2010 and on, they've done nothing, absolutely nothing. But the answer clearly is Wake Forest. Wake Forest is by far, they need to go to the FCS level, go to Division II level. I'm serious. They're not very good.
I think they can make it in the group.
No, they're not.
They can make it in the group. Conference USA needs some help.
Screw that. Screw conference. They wouldn't win a game. They wouldn't even win the Conference USA championship. I'm just saying, just in general, Wake Forest is not, in my opinion, a great university to put in a major conference. Put them in Conference USA, but I'd put them in the FCS. They suck that bad. They suck that bad.
Tyler is just like, whoa, disrespectful to Wake. He is a Wake supporter. Shane, what about you? Who's your take?
He's also a freaking Mississippi State reporter. So
disgusting.
Tyler, your word sucks.
You're disgusting. Shane, what about you? Who would you kick out of the ACC to make the conference better in today's day and age?
I'm gonna be honest. I was flipping back and forth from a couple of teams. But I will go with recency bias. I mean, and because I want to see them do well. And I don't think with them being in the ACC, is going to help them or propel them to be a good team, and that's Stanford.
Okay, you're gonna go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. This experiment is not working. They need, and I agree with Tyler. I mean, he's in chat. He's saying Stanford's the Big 12. I think the teams like Stanford, UCLA, these recent teams to join these big conferences that are in California or way out west need to be put in the Big 12. And then the Big 12's bottom half needs to either go to the Pac or they need to bring back like a conference like the Big East and
Big East.
do something like that.
Right.
Just because you need equal talent, because if you're just getting curb stomped every week, you're not really gonna go places.
Right. Okay, that's fair. Stanford and Cal both were like my immediates. Like, I mean, just look at how they're doing in the short 2 or 3 years. But it's like I'm letting them have time. That's where I was like, okay, if you're not doing those, you're doing Wake. But I think if you go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, I think that's fair. I think that's really valid. Hey, speaking of the Big 12, who would be the Big 12 one? I mean, Big 12 have not been around a super long time, only the last like 30 years or so. For me, I feel like the answer was clear. It's Kansas. It's Kansas.
Interesting.
I mean, 30 years, basically since the conference got founded formally, kind of took the remains of the Southwest Conference, right? Only a 224 conference win percentage, a 347 overall. They've only finished AP twice, and they've got no conference championships. You could make an argument for one of the newer shortcomers with West Virginia. Another long comer. You could make an argument for Baylor, but Baylor's been more relevant recently, so I'd say no. And you can make an argument for another newcomer with UCF, but I feel like Kansas is the answer. I mean, they've been there a while. They've done nothing lately, right? Like they've got ranked like one time, 2 times here recently, and then obviously now they're just even with a guy like Jalen Daniels, they're dog shit. It's Kansas for me. That's the answer.
So I'll agree with you on Kansas. I actually put West Virginia down for the simple fact is that they don't have the pull anymore that they used to have.
That's true.
And that's kind of where things have kind of shifted just in college football. And this is why I hate how college football has just went from what I felt was a balanced way of a Power 5 to a Power 6 conference, and now it's down to 4. And it's, to me, when you do that, you're pulling from sources like a West Virginia. And so I'm going to say West Virginia, but Kansas is also a great answer. I think honestly, Kansas is the more answer because there's nothing in Kansas to begin with, but there's really nothing in West Virginia anyways. But when you go from a sources now, I think Kansas has a little bit more sources from a football poll than what West Virginia does. Send them to the FCS.
Right.
Send them to space.
Send them to space. All right, Shane, what about you? Who would you kick out of the Big 12?
I actually agree with Ricky.
Okay.
I have down West Virginia mostly because, I mean, these East Coast and West Coast teams, if you are having to recruit in SEC country or true Big 12 country or even like Big 10 country in, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio, things like that, you are going to be at a less advantage when going against those teams, because your college itself is not in that area. It's on the other side of the freaking country, so you're already at a disadvantage. And it's proven that West Virginia, again, it can be changed with coaching and who you bring in there to recruit and front office, or basically front office nowadays, to get the right guy. But honestly, you're starting off behind the 8 ball like West Virginia when you're doing something like that, because you're not going to go into Oklahoma and pull players from Oklahoma when Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are not only in your same conference, but they're from that area. They're in that state.
Oklahoma used to be. Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, you're just not going to do it.
Right.
And that's why, like, West Virginia, they need to bring back the Big East.
Would love it.
Put them in the Big East.
West Virginia feels West Virginia feels like an ACC team for me.
For sure.
That's just kind of how I feel about it. I think.
And the thing is, you're recruiting that general area.
Yeah.
Right. You're recruiting the North Carolina, the South Carolina, those kind of East Coast areas where the ACC is supposed to be at, and your talent's going to be equal, if not greater, to the other talent in that conference. So therefore, your school is going to be raised because you're more competitive.
Yeah. I think both
So
answers are super valid. Tyler in chat for the ACC and for the Big 12 both, he was a Band-Aid ripoff. So yeah, ACC, Shane, he agreed with you and he said Stanford. And then for the Big 12, he was a go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off kind of guy and said screw this team. And he said Arizona, who's a new one to the conference, which can be fair. Arizona has not been great coming from the pack. It's all about what have you done for me lately. And even coming from the pack over to the Big 12, they have not been great. So I want to let new schools for the most part have the opportunity to cook and see if we can figure something out, right? But I can understand why you want to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off because it is about like, well, hey, I mean, they were dog shit with the pack. What are they going to do in the ACC? What are they going to do in the Big 12? So I can understand
and
I can
not
understand
just
it.
that, like the three teams to me that kind of pop off the page of like they're not doing well right now in the Big 12, and I
Yeah.
don't see them doing any better in the future. Is West Virginia, UCF, Arizona, Arizona State. And guess what? That's because they're not from that general area where the Big 12 is supposed to be at,
Mhm.
right? Because it's all about recruiting, or at least it used to be. But even then, like, you're not going to get players from those states when those teams are in that conference. It's just
Right.
not going to happen.
Right. That's fair. All right, let's hit the Big Ten. So here are my four that I had it narrowed down to. And shout out to Tyler's. He said Purdue. I left Purdue in there because I like how Purdue, they are one of the teams that single handedly shake shit up.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
used to kind of separate themselves with that
Yeah.
pistol that they used to run all the time too. So
Yeah.
I kind of see that.
Yeah. So the four that I picked, and one of them may not be the best pick, but this one was a historical thing, especially. But one of them, Tyler will appreciate, is Nebraska. He was a big Nebraska supporter. They're just not a Big Ten team.
No.
They're just not. In the time they've been in the Big Ten in the last 15 years, they're not over 500 for conference. They are over 500 for overall with a 517. They only finished AP twice, and of course, no conference championships. And then two more recent teams, Maryland and Rutgers.
Yep.
Maryland in 12 years, 299 conference, 445 overall. Not finished AP once, 0 conference championships. They made 5 bowls. Rutgers, 12 years, 206 in conference play, 362 overall, no AP finishes, no conference championships, 4 bowls. My long-term one that was kind of like probably the one that's the worst one to say would be Northwestern. 128 years, only a 371 conference, 445 overall, AP 13 times, 8 conference championships, are pretty damn historical. But when they had Pat as the head coach, they were relevant. They were making conference championships, but it's also because of the divisions.
Yeah.
Now that those are gone, the chances of them ever making a conference championship are slim to none. But the answer is Rutgers. Well, I mean, what are we even talking about?
Yeah.
Rutgers is garbage. They've been garbage. They're going to continue to be garbage.
They've competed this year, but this year, well, of course, I even predicted they'd make a bowl game, and I think that prediction's gone down the toilet.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have a 4-4 record. They still have a chance to make a bowl game. But like recently, in the last 20 years,
Yeah.
it's been Rutgers.
Yeah,
Rutgers is terrible.
It's Rutgers. I mean, like, they were terrible before. They're terrible now. Like, what are we even talking about? At least Maryland, then while they might not have finished AP, they only have one more bowl than Rutgers in this time frame. At least they had like a brief stint of people looked at him because of Tua's brother, and he's like the all-time like leading passer at Maryland now, right? At least they had a brief stint of like, hey, we're doing something. At least Maryland has produced some NFL players. You know what I mean? Like Stephon Diggs or Torrey Smith. Who the hell is Rutgers produced? I can't think of anyone off the dome. Maybe Ray Rice. Did he come from Rutgers, or am I tripping? I don't know. I mean, Rutgers hasn't done shit for us as a team in a conference. So it's Rutgers. I mean, that's I think a clear answer. I mean, Ricky, who is your answer? Is it Rutgers or someone else?
It's Rutgers.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same page when it comes to Rutgers. And I think one other team that you could probably throw in there, other than the teams that you win, and we're talking about recently. I'm not talking about historically. Minnesota could be one of those that you could throw in there. And I don't think Minnesota is just such terrible that you send them to the FCS or to space or anything like that. But I think they would benefit from a different conference other than the Big Ten. They're competing, but they're not beating the big dogs, if that makes sense. They're just not really beating the big dogs. They're just there.
Right.
And so I really believe, and of course, you look at their history, they have been excuse me, they do have 18 conference championships, but I don't think any of those were in the Big Ten. I could be wrong. I don't think any of those were in the Big Ten. Yeah, because they had other conferences that they had in the entire past, everything like that. They've got a great winning record as far as 735-42, and they, of course, whenever ties existed, they still have those. But at the same time, Minnesota is just somewhere. If you are in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or if you're somewhere in Minnesota and you're going to a football game, you're an idiot. I would not sit out in the cold weather like that in snowy weather and freeze my butt off. I have frozen my butt off at football games, but there's a difference between freezing down here and freezing up there. When it's 30 degrees here, it's like negative 30 up there. So I'm not.
Yeah, you hear that, Packers fans? You're idiots.
Hey, you know what? They can go to the same conference with Wyoming. That'd be a great conference for them to go to. There you go. Go to the Mountain West.
Wow. All right.
Go to the Mountain West. Put them in the Mountain West.
All right, Shane. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's Rutgers, clear cut.
Clear cut. It's obvious.
But again, like going back to the Big East thing, like you can't tell me creating the Big East, throwing Rutgers, Maryland, Minnesota, Nebraska in that, and telling me that wouldn't be a more competitive conference. Because let's face it, just like we said with Stanford, football is better when Nebraska's good.
Well, they need to go back to the Big 12, though. They need to go back.
I get that they're 6-2 right now and 3-2 in the conference, but let's face it. Other than this year, some shaky stuff last year, like they again have not been relatively consistently good like they were in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking out for like as far as like teams need to benefit from being competitive, and these teams are not consistently competitive in these conferences.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, Maryland, Rutgers would be two that would be cool to see go to like a Big East. I think Nebraska, that's a Big 12 team. That's a Big 12 team through and through. Nebraska, go back, baby. Go back to the Big 12 and run that shit, brother. Go. I want to see some Big 12 football with Nebraska in it, baby. That's what I want right now. That sounds amazing.
Yep.
All right, let's go over to SEC and finish this bad boy up. So here are my four. And again, this is based on what have you done for me lately, because the historical answer is Vandy. But Vandy, as long as they can maintain the momentum they've got after these current group of guys leave to the NFL or move on with their professional business careers or whatever they're going to be doing, can they maintain it? Are they going to lose their coach? Is the next coach going to be able to maintain it? So Vandy gets a pass for me for now. But historically, Vandy is the worst team in the SEC, only next to Sewanee, which is kind of tough to count. Kind of tough to count.
True.
That's one of the OGs. Bottom of my four would be South Carolina. 34 years to the conference, 425 conference, 520 overall, finished AP 8 times, 0 conference championships. Coming in third, and this is going from least to the number one that needs to go for the record. Sorry, Tyler, go fuck yourself. Mississippi State, 92 years, 356 in conference, 498 overall. They finished AP 15 times, only 1 conference championship. And now the last two, I'm sure you guys can guess who one of them is.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys, because Arkansas doesn't belong in the SEC. I'm telling you up front.
I'm gonna guess Arkansas, Kentucky.
Boom, nailed it.
Yeah.
So I actually have Arkansas at number 2. And Kentucky's my number 1, because you look at Kentucky, 92 years in the SEC, 317 conference, 464 overall, 4 times finishing in the AP, 2-time conference championship, and plus just over the last 20 years or so, I can only think of a couple times off the dome that Kentucky's really been in the conversation. Arkansas, while I think is complete hot dog water and they do not belong in the SEC with football, they've at least been in the conversation at least 3 times.
Yeah.
Versus Kentucky, maybe once that I can think of, maybe twice, where it's like maybe Kentucky can do it. But Arkansas, similar to Nebraska, they're not an SEC team. I think Arkansas, if Arkansas ever went to the Big 12, which will never happen for reasons outside of football, Arkansas would run the Big 12 potentially. The only thing I think Arkansas football could get to have them be consistently successful is pull a Notre Dame. Go independent, stay SEC for every other athletics. You do that, and you can be athletic. But it would be no matter what you do, it's going to come off as you're tucking your tail between your legs and leaving. That's just the facts. But the facts also say that since Arkansas has been in the conference for 34 years, you guys have a 389 conference win rate, a 504 overall. You've only finished AP 6 times. You have 0 conference championships. You're 206, 203 and 2 since joining the SEC. With a 104, 164 in conference play. But meanwhile, if you dial it back and you look at the Southwest,
Yep.
you guys were 791 and 464 with a 604 overall, as well as a 241, 194 in conference play for a 552, finishing AP 23 times plus 14 conference championships. So I think Kentucky right now is the clear winner because as much as I despise the Razorbacks, sorry guys, I acknowledge you guys have a lot of great NIL potential, and that NIL potential can help elevate the team to be competitive within the SEC in some capacity. So Kentucky is the clear, in a way, number one right now, but that could change at any given day between, honestly, any of these top four. What about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with everything you said about Arkansas, but had you said this during the Bobby Petrino eras, like during the Bobby Petrino era, because if you look at this, and Shane would probably agree with me on this, when Bobby Petrino had that accident, everything all of a sudden changed for Arkansas because
Smile.
during Bobby P, we were nationally ranked. We were number 3 in the nation going against number 1 LSU. Possible going to a national championship, winning that game when we get blown out. And then then he has a motorcycle accident, and ever since then the program has been kind of and so. But had you said that before Bobby P, I would have said that you're out of your mind. Now that we've seen what they've done here lately, you're right. I think they would benefit by going to a different conference, probably going back to the Big 12. But like you said, for money reasons, everything like that, it's not going to happen. But the one thing I will say with Arkansas is this. They do have a lot of pull money-wise, like Shane said earlier. And when it comes to competing-wise as far as getting recruiting and everything like that goes, you're competing a lot with the Texas schools because that's where we've historically recruited better at. It's in-state and obviously Texas. And we've had some great teams in the past. That's another conversation from another day. Mine's South Carolina.
That's fair.
Yeah, South Carolina's just
fair.
been irrelevant, and even you could take the last 30 years of football, and to me, South Carolina's just been one of the more irrelevant teams that's just been out there. And
fair.
then I'm sorry, and as much as I love my Vanderbilt Commodores,
Oh, you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it
Okay.
because you're right. Historically, they've been the worst one.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
are.
they're literally there. Like if they say the SEC's academics are full of crap, the Vanderbilt's the one that's full of academics. Everybody else is just there.
Hey, this is
And
about
and I love
improving
my Vanderbilt
football.
Commodores, y'all. I love my Commodores. But they would benefit more in the FCS, okay? They
Oh,
would benefit
wow.
more in the FCS with football. I'm just
Come
saying.
on now.
And even basketball, they would benefit more in the FCS and basketball because they suck. Now, baseball, on the other hand, keep them where they're at. They're really good
Hey.
at baseball. Everything else, send them to space, send them to the FCS, send them somewhere besides the SEC. I love you, Vanry.
Hey.
I'm always going to love you, man. I'm still the only jersey that I own, but no, they do not belong in the SEC whatsoever.
Do you know what their conference win rate is? I just pulled it
I think
up.
it's like 20%.
It's 247.
Yeah, I knew it was low. I knew it
The
was
only
low.
team lower is Sewanee, who is a whopping 0. They were 0-36 in SEC play before they said, "Yeah, we're going all the way down to Division 3. We're out of here, brother." Shane, what about you?
I mean, so to me, with the history of Arkansas, I would love to say, hey, go to the Big 12. Because people say, oh, it's about money, that's why Arkansas won't leave. But the thing is, if you're more competitive and can run the Big 12, you're gonna counteract that SEC money.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Because
That's a good point.
You're gonna have funds coming from boosters because you're beating up on people. You're gonna have more people in the stands. You're gonna have more people buying merchandise, more tickets being sold, things like that.
Yep.
But again, it won't happen because the SEC, not only revenue sharing and everything like that is ridiculous, but also like the TV deals with ESPN, ABC, whatever it may be, is CBS, are out of this world where it's never going to happen. But at least, kind of like what you were saying, with the history of Arkansas in the SEC and the Southwestern Conference, I still see them as an SEC school, regardless. Are we a good SEC school? Of course not. Especially in the last 10 years, we have not been. But if things can go right with boosters, we can be top 5, top 3 school. Are we going to win it every year or even win it at all? Probably not. But if we're in the door, if we're winning 8, 9, 10 games consistently, and a bad year for us is 7 wins, 6 wins, we're good. That's cool. That's straight. But for me, it is a toss-up between South Carolina, Kentucky, honorable mention, Mississippi State.
Honorable mention.
So
Would that be considered dishonorable mention?
And that's and that's only because the only reason why they're an honorable mention and not a toss-up with South Carolina, Kentucky is because of the era that they had with Dak Prescott and the quarterback that they had after Dak Prescott, when they were basically a top 15 team for
Well, let's
like
remember.
4 years in a row.
Let's remember when the top 4 first came out, Mississippi State was the first #1 team.
They were, weren't they? That's so true.
They were, yeah.
That's
Dak
great.
Prescott.
So that's the only
Kentucky
reason
couldn't say
why
that.
I'm like, okay. So that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, they've proven that they can do it. But you also got to think with the Mississippi schools, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, like it's kind of close to what the Florida teams are, right? Like if one team is good, the other team is going to be really bad because
or they're both going to suck.
Or they're both going to suck because one's taking the recruits from the others, one is taking the money from the booster from the others, so on and so forth. So like, I don't see a time ever where Mississippi State and Ole Miss are going to be in an SEC championship together, or I don't see a time where, say, the Florida schools, Miami, Florida State, Florida, those schools are all going to be competitive all in the same year because it's really hard to do because year after year after year. You're recruiting in the same state, and you're also trying to divide up booster money between those schools. So, and typically, Ole Miss has always been the better school.
That's true. That is true. No, that's a good point about what you said, Ricky, about Mississippi State and at least some sort of recent success. So I think the answer is Kentucky or South Carolina. Or I guess if you want to be aggressive, go ahead and say Vandy.
I love my Commodores.
Even though they're on the up and up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love my Commodores.
Yeah, I think there's a few valid answers from all. It's an interesting conversation. I wish Jacob was here to have the full combo because I know it's the one he put in. I don't know. I may try to get his opinion on it later on, when we got some free time on an episode. But hey, let's shout out some Rogue Energy real quick, and then we'll get over to some college picks. Hey, how's it going? Do you like Rogue Energy? Then maybe you should use the referral link down below and get some Rogue Energy. Promo code Sparky3. Get 10% off your order. It works for everything. Hydration, chill, energy. The cans are good. Try them all. If they have a better sale going on, that's okay. You don't have to use our promo code. Just use the referral link. You're still going to help the brand. But drink responsibly. Be 18 plus. It is a lot of caffeine. Bye. All right, and we're back. Make sure to definitely go check out some Rogue Energy. It is delicious. But hey, like the ad said, they got a better sale. Don't worry about it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the picks. We are going to look to wrap the show because I got to get moving. We're not going to do NFL today because honestly, NFL kind of sucks this week. Be upfront, it does. There's like 2 decent games. And also, Ricky, you need to pay attention to your fantasy. You were close to Jacob with only 3 players alone because your whole team was on a bye.
Whoa, I thought I changed all that crap. I guess not.
No. Tucker Kraft, your running back, and like Waddle, them alone almost kept you in it. As funny as that is, you ended with like
I could have swore I changed it.
No, your whole team was on a bye. Like, dude, it was like going into Monday Night Football. Jacob had 132. You had 110. Like, just imagine if you would have actually started your lineup.
Dadgummit.
So funny. So funny. Anyway, let's jump into college picks, week 10. Let's run through this, kicking things off with Vandy and Texas. Give me Vandy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm going Vanderbilt. Texas got lucky going down to Starkville. Like you said, the little shitville, Starkville.
Hate that town.
I do too, even though they're going to beat Arkansas this weekend. But hey, shout out. Go Vanderbilt.
What you got, Shane?
Yeah, I got Vandy. They've just proven that they're consistently good. They're consistently beating good teams. And Texas is spotty at the best, but they're still going to put up 50 against Arkansas in 2 weeks.
All right, next up, Oklahoma at Tennessee. Where are you guys leaning on this one?
So I'm going to pick Tennessee just because it's at Tennessee. I like Brent Venables. I do really like Brent Venables, but this season is starting to shape up like last season was. Have a really, really strong start and then slip. And I think Brent Venables, if he loses this game, could see him on the hot seat.
Man, Lane Kiffin put him in a body bag. For that reason, give me Tennessee.
Yep.
What about you, Shane?
I agree with both of you. With Tennessee and also with y'all's perspective on Brent Venables. I'll take it a notch further. I think if Oklahoma isn't close in this game, Tennessee wins by 2 scores, it's done. Brent Venables is out. Ooh. He's going to go back to be a DC at a group of 6, whatever conference team.
It's about to be group of 6 here soon.
Right.
Because it's not working out.
Yeah.
I like Brent Venables. I think he's one of the best DCs. Hell, pay him $15 million to come to Arkansas to be our DC.
There
I
you
would
go.
love it.
There you
I
go.
don't care.
Ne-
But yeah, he's gone if he gets blown out in this game.
All right, next up, we got Cincy at Utah. You know what? Give me Cincy, man. They've been playing a lot better this year, and I like what I'm seeing. Give me Cincy on this one, even though it's on the road. Give me Cincy.
I want to take Utah because they are like you said, Cincy is on the road. Cincy's bound to lose a game, but they've been solid all year. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and stick on the Cincy bandwagon for this one.
Bearcats, baby.
Yeah, Cincy is one of kind of one of my surprises from this year. I'm gonna go Cincy.
Okay, all right. Next up, we got Army and Air Force. Man, I honestly, how have these two been doing? Not great.
Air Force isn't very good at all.
I know Navy's been balling, obviously, but Army's been at least so-so, right? Or have they been garbage? I think Air Force has been garbage.
Air Force has been garbage for sure. I think Army's been on the up and end. They did have that loss to Tarleton State. They both might suck equally.
That's right.
This is just
Army
an
did
equally.
have that.
Let's just consider this an equally worthless game.
Look, it is, but hey, we're all about the college football rivalries here.
We are.
Yeah,
we definitely are.
Army is 8th in the ACC right now.
Yeah, they're 3-4 versus Air Force 2-5. I don't know. Give me Air Force at home. Air Force is actually favored -1.5. Give me Air Force, baby. Give me the Falcons.
Yeah, both these teams suck.
Thank you for your service.
I'm taking Army.
I am as well taking Army.
Next up, we got Hawaii at San Jose State for the Dick Tomey Legacy game, which Hawaii, I think, is actually the underdog here, even though San Jose State's only won 2 damn games. And Hawaii's like 6-2. Give me the Bows. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's absolutely terrible and how they all do this other kind of stuff like that. Yeah, Hawaii being 6-2 right now, they're actually a very good football team. And this is the only year I have not given them love, and they're still going. For that reason, give me the Rainbow Warriors, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Listen, Ricky's been against the Bows pretty much every week.
That's very
he
true.
likes them, but he's been against them every week. And now the week that he chooses to go with them, they're an underdog. Look for the San Jose State to win this game. But I'm going to agree with you. Go Bows.
There you go, baby. I cannot believe that we are a -2.5 underdog to the 2-5 San Jose State Spartans, which have done shit this year.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? It's going to be an interesting game, guys. Both head coaches, former quarterbacks for the Bows. So that's an interesting thing there.
So one thing I think that does favor, I think the one reason why they probably did it that way, the 2 wins they've had were at home.
Oh, that's fair.
And they've only lost 1 game at home.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's see. Next one. Washington State and Oregon State, the most friendly rivalry in all of college football. It's Washington State.
Yeah,
Oregon State sucks. They lost their coach. It's GG. It's GG. It's the Cougs.
Yeah, dadgummit. Yeah.
It's the Cougs.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I miss the Beavs when the Pac-12 existed. Then I could pick them to win. I can't do that anymore. It's Washington State.
Yeah, it's the Cougs here.
Yeah, I'm going with Washington State too. And I miss Oregon State being good because their uniforms is
clean
and their mascot is just
clean,
top notch.
Clean.
And I don't even like Beavers. Like the Beavers, like I don't like Glen Rose. Like I don't like the Beavers. Like I don't even like that mascot. I just think it's stupid.
Right.
But man, you let me buy into the Beavs, man. I got to worry.
Next up, we got Central Michigan at Western Michigan. This one in particular is the battle for the victory cannon. But of course, these two, as well as Eastern Michigan, they are one of the trio rivalries in college football. I like Western Michigan here. I don't know why. I haven't looked at the records, but I'm going Western Michigan here.
So Western Michigan is 4-4. Central Michigan is 5-3. So yeah, that's a good one to go for.
The quarterback for Western Michigan, man, 6 TDs, 1 pick. I love it. Give me the Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos have 1 loss at home. They're a home team. Western Michigan is going to win this football game. Give me Western Michigan.
Give me Central Michigan.
Wow, just got to be different. Whatever. Okay.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got Miami and SMU. Miami, of course, suffered the first trademark Miami loss. Could it be 2 here?
No.
God bless, I hope, but it's going to be Miami.
No. Move on. Why the hell's this game on here?
I love the way Carson...
Why the hell's this game on here?
Because I wanted to shout out how I love how Carson Beck lost that game. Loved every second of it. I can't stand Carson Beck. I hope SMU wins, but it'll probably be Miami. Give me Miami.
Shane already said my pick. pick
Listen,
SMU. You
I mean,
different
SMU
little
is no slump, okay?
That's true.
They've got what could be the next Arkansas head coach in Rhett Lashley, okay?
don't
they-
don't wish
they're
that
not
on
a
us,
bad
please.
team.
Jesus, oh Lord.
But I'm going with the Canes.
All right. All right, Ricky. Floor is yours.
All right, Virginia Military Institute.
The full name.
Virginia Military is VMI is the short one. It really is. They are out of Lexington. They're out of Lexington, Virginia. This is actually a rivalry game. They're both military schools. The Citadel is a military school out of South Carolina. They're both they're in the same conference. This is the Military Classic of the South. Now, the reason I put this game on here, yes, because y'all did shout out both teams last week. Thank y'all very much.
Got you.
Tyler, you missed something, man, and you missed something good with your pick last week between what was it, Citadel and Furman? Was that the one that was in there?
It was the Citadel and Furman.
Yeah, so it is the Citadel. Don't know why, don't care. Anyways, but the Citadel, there's something he missed. And I never thought he would ever miss anything. The Citadel has a history against Arkansas. They beat Arkansas in 1992, and it was the first game of the year. We lost 10-3. Jack Crow was our head coach. We lose 10-3 at home versus the Citadel, and then the very next week we beat the crap out of South Carolina with our new coach. We only won 3 games that year, but the fact that Tyler missed that blew my mind. But you gonna remember Bucknell and basketball? Come on, man, do better. Like I'm thinking, I cannot wait for Tyler's story here. I can't, because that's all. The one reason I love to do these picks, I love to hear Tyler's stories because he pulls up some of the most random nonsense in the entire world, and it's beautiful, and it's what we need here on a terrible football show. Do better, Tyler.
Do better. Buy the shirt. He actually tried. It didn't get there.
Now, to get back to the game. So, Virginia, the Citadel's actually owned this rivalry for like the last 15, 20 years, but this year, VMI is a little bit better defensively. They run the ball a little bit better. VMI should win this football game, and it's not going to get any easier for the Citadel because I think they got to play Ole Miss in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Give me the Citadel. Give me the Citadel. The Citadel. Ohio State over here pretending, throwing the in there.
Yep.
The Citadel is
The
Citadel.
Citadel. That's right.
Ohio State's pretending. Shane, who you got?
Yeah, give me the Citadel
There you
because
go.
I used to beat the crap out of them in football.
All right. I'll shout out the next one just for Tyler. Tana Tech and Rocky Mount. He loves the Montana Tech Ore Diggers. He loves them. They're number 4 in the country right now. It's just Tana Tech. We're moving on. I wanted to make sure I got shouted out for Tyler. All right. Next up, FCS game of the week. UT Rio Grande Valley versus Stephen F. Austin, which Stephen F. Austin's balling right now.
Yes,
honestly.
they are.
Honestly, they both are. They're both playing very, very well. I think I got the home dog here. Give me Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, I really want to go with the road team, but like you said, Stephen F. Austin's been balling. I got to stick with Stephen F. Austin here.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay. FBS game of the week, which this is a big one. This is a big deal because this is the game that could potentially decide that playoff team for Group of 5. Obviously, we already went over a lot of big ranked games coming up. A lot of people's probably excited for Vandy and Texas and stuff, but we got Navy and North Texas for the FBS game of the week because this could potentially decide that college football Group of 5 winner. I have been riding with them all year. I love this North Texas team. I love this quarterback who walked on, has not started since like junior high or middle school.
Yeah.
And here he is balling out. I love it. I love what he's doing. But Navy has been balling as well. But give me the mean green. I like North Texas here.
The only problem that I have is that North Texas does not have a rushing defense. That's tough.
That could kill them this game.
That's tough. But they do score the ball a lot better than Navy does. I'll take North Texas.
There you go.
I'm going North Texas as well because any quarterback who can walk on with that type of frame that he has, I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", something
He's built, brother.
outlandish.
Future Josh Allen.
But he goes out there and throws for like nearly 700 yards and like 8 total touchdowns or something like that. Listen, I'm a quarterback guy. I like seeing good quarterback play, and that dude's a dog.
He is a dog.
Navy's, listen to this, guys. Navy's schedule coming up after North Texas. At Notre Dame, home against South Florida, at Memphis, and then the traditional Navy versus Army game. That's brutal.
Oh my God.
They may go 0-5 the rest of the way.
God,
because you never know with the Army Navy game. Oh my gosh.
That's
They
diabolical.
could very well lose out, but if they lose this North Texas game.
Dude, that's diabolical.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Goodness gracious. At
Give
least,
me-
I mean, at least they'll make a bowl game.
Yeah, they'll make a bowl game. Shout out to that. Shout out to that. Next up, terrible game of the week. I picked this one because someone picked it as terrible game of the week, but Tyler picked it for FCS game of the week because he loves to troll. So we have North Alabama at Utah Tech.
Oh my gosh, are you freaking kidding? That's a terrible game of the week.
Yeah, that's terrible game of the week, brother. Give me North Alabama, I guess. No, actually, you know what? Give me I hate both states. Who do I hate more though? Give me out North Alabama. Give me North Alabama.
Shane, you go next.
I'm gonna use Alex's logic. Which state do I hate more? And
Correct.
It's always gonna be Alabama because Utah is a beautiful state. So I am gonna go, even though there's nothing there but mountains and valleys. But I'm going Utah Tech here.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Let's see. Utah Tech's one win was against Northern Iowa. Garbage.
Yep.
They
That Kurt
oh my
Warner's
gosh,
water?
this is terrible.
Yeah,
How the
think so.
freak? And who'd y'all pick?
I picked North Alabama.
Oh my
I picked
gosh.
Utah Tech.
We're split. Who's on the winning side here?
Let's see. Let's see here. Northern Alabama is 2-6. Let me see if they're 2-win. Northeastern State. No one cares about them.
Facts.
And then they played Illinois State to overtime. They didn't play well against Abilene Christian. Their other win was against Eastern Kentucky. I'm going Northern Alabama. I think their football plays been just a little bit better than Utah Tech. I'll go Northern
All
Alabama.
right, lock it in. Shane, you're on your own little island over there. All right, boys. I'm hitting the music. We're gonna get out of here because I do need to get rolling. So honestly, good show. I enjoy doing those hypothetical, like who would you do with what kind of conference questions. Looking forward to coming
Do
back
that to
here.
the NFL next.
Yeah, I know. No, we should. No, because dude, there are so many teams that need to get moved around the NFL.
Yep.
It makes me so mad that the Cowboys are in the NFC East. It violently makes me mad. Colts in the AFC South violently makes me mad. I could go on all day. about
Yep,
this.
yep.
All day. But no, probably no show next week because I will be busy next week and will not be available. But we will be back on the 11th for sure. Might have something come out next week. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a pre-recorded thing if I do anything. May see if someone else can have time to do something on like maybe a Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. We'll see. I may just be too busy next week. But if you made it all the way in, we appreciate the hell of you, Corey. If you want to support us for the Patreon, it's a great way to do so, as well as join the Discord. Come chat with us. Boys, any last thoughts you want to throw out there?
No, let's hit the road, man. Hit the road.
All right, hit the road. Tyler also said go Cowbells earlier. He wanted me to shout that out, but I can never pick Arkansas, but I cannot pick Mississippi State. I hope send them to space.
Send them to space.
That's my
Send 'em
final
to
word.
space.
It's like well, I hope that ends in a tie.
Yeah, I hope it's in
be
a
like
tie.
be like the
40,
ending.
43 overtimes, guys. We got to call
Be
it.
like the ending in Thor Ragnarok where that dude comes out. So it's a tie.
Yeah, it's a tie. It's a tie. All right, we're getting out of here. Have a good one. Bye.